Somebody's happy to be back here on the Final Answer. Welcome back, post Super Bowl. You're back?
I'm back, bro.
It's good to see you. It just doesn't feel the same when you're not with me side by side. You know, it's like, Batman and Robin,
It's been a busy couple months, I'll say that.
Well, hey, you got big things going. I'm just so excited to have you back. We missed you on the Super Bowl episode. Great game.
Great game.
We'll start off with that. What'd you think?
Unbelievable game. Was that like the highest Super Bowl scoring game ever? I mean,
It had to be close, but
I should have looked that stat up. I mean, it was, golly. I mean, it was just, everybody kept scoring over and over and over. Was there any defense?
There was defense at the end. But again, I felt like, to me, great game. Both quarterbacks played outstanding. Jalen Hurts, unbelievable first half. Did have the big turnover, which I feel like when you're playing these big games against great quarterbacks, sometimes one possession can change the game. But other than that, he was outstanding.
Brady's made a whole career off of that.
Exactly. Made a big run, too, in the second half. Jalen played phenomenal. I thought the Eagles were up 10 at halftime. This was their game to win, man. And, they taken the lead at 24-14 at halftime, and they come out in the second half, and they score 11 points.
Yep.
Where Kansas City scored 24 second half points. What'd you think about Jalen as far as he's come from getting benched at Alabama to leading them, should have been to a Super Bowl victory? How much were you impressed by his game on
Unbelievable.
Super Bowl?
I'll be honest, going into last season, like going into the beginning of the season, I did not see the Eagles having that kind of success. But obviously they proved everybody wrong.
Yeah.
By that, and I think he did great. 374 yards, both passing and rushing. Responsible for 4 touchdowns? I mean, unbelievable.
Yeah, 70 yards rushing, 3 touchdowns, had 300 yards passing.
Yeah.
On the other side of the ball, this guy is turning into maybe the Michael Jordan of football, Patrick Mahomes on a bum ankle, goes out there and does what he does. Again, he had a big run at the end of the game that sealed the game. To me, Patrick Mahomes is somebody that every game they're going to have a chance to win it.
Yeah.
And if you can find a quarterback like that, you're set. It's like, hey, we know going in we can beat anybody. He played incredible, made some incredible throws and an incredible run down the stretch. Numbers don't look gaudy. 182 yards passing, but 3 touchdowns, no turnovers. I mean, what do you think about Mahomes and just the future in Kansas City? He does it without Tyreek Hill and wins the Super Bowl.
Yeah, no, I think he did a great job. I mean, if you think about it, too, I compare it to how Peyton won in Denver. Peyton really didn't do anything, hardly that season because, of age and everything else. So if you think, I know Patrick Mahomes did a lot last season.
No,
when
it
comes to that game, obviously.
Well, they had the punt return from Florida Gator, Kadarius Toney. They got him longest in punt return in Super Bowl history. They had the fumble recovery for a touchdown. Right. So they pretty much got 14 points off non-offensive touchdowns.
Just being a leader and making sure his team finished and won. I think Mahomes did great.
When you play with a gutsy performance, that also is leading by example. Guys, he's out here on a bum ankle giving everything. Why can't I get everything? And they got plays from Juju. They got plays from Panchero in the backfield. Like Kelsey had a normal good game.
Yeah.
I was, just Chiefs, 2 titles now. Pretty impressive for Andy Reid and Mahomes.
Yeah.
Wasn't it his first Super Bowl to not throw an interception, too?
Probably so. He is a fun and gun type guy. So,
and all these weird throws that he makes. If it was anybody else on the field, there'd be picks all over the place. But
so the Chiefs, Super Bowl champs, but I have to ask you about the play at the end of the game, the holding call. The whole game, you really don't see anything like that. If they don't call that, I feel like the ball was overthrown. Do you think that, that gives the Eagles a chance to go tie or win the game? I think everybody wanted to see that. I didn't like the call. I felt like that, he got him a little bit, but it wasn't anything that was going to affect the play. What were your thoughts on that big holding call at the end?
I'm the same. When it's in doubt, I just let them play, right?
Yeah.
But I'm not the ref. That's just what I'd say.
Yeah.
I don't like it when refs, make an impact to a game like that. So I would agree. I wouldn't have caught it. Again, I'm not a zebra. So.
Well, the Kansas City Chiefs are your Super Bowl champions. Incredible game. Rihanna was great at halftime. Couldn't do much moving that she was pregnant, but still got to listen to all the classics.
I think that was the most Googled thing in the middle of the Super Bowl was Rihanna pregnant.
And the thing is, too, about Rihanna, how many hits does she have? She's got like 30 hits. She just keeps going. I know every one,
Probably more than Beyonce.
Oh, easy now.
Like that, but
easy. Well,
yeah.
hey, Super Bowl's over. Draft's coming. We're in the middle of crazy free agency right now.
Yeah.
Breaking news: Jimmy Garoppolo is going to the Las Vegas Raiders. That's a big get. Jalen Ramsey just signed with the Dolphins. Lots going on. Carolina just traded up to get the first pick in the draft from the Bears. You got to be thinking they're going quarterback. I'm thinking C.J. Stroud, Bryce Young, maybe. This is a crazy week, but we'll be back in time for the draft. Hopefully you'll be able to join us again for that. But
I think the NFL just stepped it up and said March Madness who. That's what I think just happened because free agency has just gone crazy.
Yeah. Well, before we get to March Madness and our picks, I want to cover a few other things and just kind of get your opinions on that. I know you don't watch as much basketball as I do, so I think this would be good non-biased opinions of saying like what happened, what's going on. The two big things right now that are really a cloud over all basketball. Alabama wins the SEC basketball tournament, but they've had some crazy issues going on off the court with their star Brandon Miller being involved in a shooting case. Our thoughts and prayers to the victims of the case, and just a horrible situation. They've continued to let him play. He's played, done great. To me, again, I don't know all and read all the facts, and the people that are there are going to only be the ones that know what happened. But he's continued to play, and there hasn't been any sort of suspension. I think if it's any other player, he probably does get suspended. What did you think about Alabama letting him continue to play in the season? Is that something that you think is going to, kind of be a tarnish on this great season they've had?
I think so. Yeah. I mean, if you look back in history of, I'm not just talking basketball.
Yeah.
I'm talking all sports. When something like this goes down, the players normally immediately put on suspension until everything gets figured out.
Yeah.
And then they'll figure it out later. And I'm talking like I'm a Florida State fan. Peter Ward.
Yeah.
I mean, he $400 worth of clothes for free, and it basically gave up the Heisman by pulling that.
So I'm shocked you went Peter Warwick and not Jameis Winston. So I was going to say Jameis Winston has that, and he is kind of the same situation. Heisman Trophy winner, gets the stuff from Publix, the crab legs, and all that stuff.
Yeah,
he gets suspended. He still dresses out thinking he's still going to play.
Well, and the fact that because Jameis, I feel like it wasn't bad enough to where he should have been suspended for the rest of the season.
Yes.
Obviously, there was a lot of failures on his
because
part.
there was multiple things with him, and I'm not trying to compare this to what happened in Tuscaloosa, but kind of the same thing. A once in a generation type athlete, the best basketball player Bama's maybe ever had, and it's happened to him. If this is a walk-on player, is he gone? I think so.
But what? So what is he? Is he a sophomore?
No, freshman.
So he's a freshman. If I was the coach at Alabama, I would have suspended him for the season. It sucks. It's a whole deal. We got to figure out where it's at next year. Come back sophomore season. Choose your friends better. I mean, my parents used to tell me growing up, you are who your friends are.
Yeah.
So,
the problem is he's top 3 lottery pick in the draft.
Yep.
He's the SEC Player of the Year. He's the SEC Tournament MVP. He's the best player they've ever had. He ain't coming back for his sophomore year. And if you're suspended for the season, you've now jeopardized your season where they're the number 1 overall seed, and now they don't have a player who's their it would be like Texas losing Kevin Durant. They'd be an average team. He makes them the best team.
Yeah.
So that's what Jameis. If they lost Jameis that year, they'd have been an average team. Instead, they were the best team. That's why these now again, what happened, the situation's not comparable.
Right.
But I was very surprised they didn't at least say, hey, at the end of the year or through the SEC tournament, and you can come back for March Madness.
Yeah.
Because they were going to make the tournament regardless. But to not sit out a single game,
Not at all.
That to me was like, golly, that's what drove everybody else so crazy. We're like, hey, there's got to be some sort of. I think if they say, hey, there's a 4 or 5 game suspension or out at the end of the year, I think they got a little bit less. But now everywhere they go, they're getting booed. Crazy people like you're all this kind of. It's just
Well, honestly, too, the thing that I don't understand is from a mental capacity. If I was to put myself in his shoes and going through that, I would want to take a break.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, like if it was me, I'm thinking, crap, I messed up. My friend did this. I would want to take a break, gather my thoughts and everything before I started back and tried to finish out the season. Yeah. But it sounds like he's like, screw it, I'm just playing through it.
He dropped 42 the next night and won the game for it. I mean, but again, the coach has to make the call and the administration has to make the call. And so that's what's different. But I guess, and then we'll jump to the NBA. John Morant, MVP candidate, literally leading Memphis to another great year, gets caught showing a gun on his Instagram Live. Happened to be maybe or maybe not at a strip club that night. it's just like, you got $100 million and you're putting yourself in these situations, aka like Plaxico or these other guys. It's like, man, you've made it. Why are you going back to all this when you have everything? And now he's serving. I think he may be finally back from a suspension, but the police looked into that investigation with all the stuff that's happening. He may or may not came and beat up a 17-year-old kid at the park. Like, just his PR team is probably like, they're probably just like.
And honestly, I think it's just you got to grow up.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, I understand. Being him, he just got $100 million. You got to grow up. And I hate to bring up a Florida Gator, but Aaron Hernandez, he had everything going for him. Came into the Patriots. They win 2 Super Bowls.
Yep.
And then everything comes crashing down with all this nonsense.
And imagine a guy that got to play with Tim Tebow and Tom Brady. That's pretty much the best setup. But again,
Gronkowski, like they were buds, man. They were like best friends.
Same similar situation in college. He supposedly breaks some bouncer's nose or punched him and gave some crazy thing, and they end up covering all that up along with a lot of other stuff. Yeah. I think there's a Netflix documentary coming out about the Florida 08 team.
Yeah.
So. These athletes, are they privileged? Are they getting things because they are who they are? That's what all these other extremists are coming in this day and age saying, why they're so vocal about these. Oh, they're just getting away because they're so good and they can spin a basketball. All this other kind of stuff. It's like, is it true or is it not true? I don't think if going back to the Miller situation or Jameis, if they're not who they are, they probably would been suspended a lot longer. So
sure.
I think it is absolutely true.
Well, I think time is on your side, right? Yeah. The longer you can draw things out and keep it in court, and if the player's gone, they're in professional sports and everything, that obviously works out too.
Well, like I said, even like the Sean Oakman case, that big guy from Baylor, he got accused of rape on a girl, and it never happened. But they drew that case out. He didn't get drafted, lost out on a lot of money.
That's true.
It can be both ways. But I wanted to ask you one more thing. A couple other things going on in the NFL. Lamar Jackson's the big topic. He has not gotten his way with everything that's going on, with Deshaun Watson getting all this guaranteed money, these other guys getting paid. What's going on with Lamar? Is somebody like the Falcons? I thought maybe the Raiders, the Dolphins, they're all going different directions. Is the threat of not being able to pass the ball consistently? Is that what's holding all this off? Or are the Ravens just being stubborn? What's going on here? You think?
So I don't know what's going on with the Ravens. I mean, if I was the GM at the Ravens, I'd be signing him. I don't know what's going on with the Falcons.
Yeah.
If I was GM at the Falcons, I'd be throwing everything at Lamar Jackson to get him to come to Atlanta.
I don't think the Falcons have that much to throw.
I don't think they either. I don't think they do either. But man, I'm just telling you, like I would, if I'm Lamar, obviously, Deshaun Watson contract's a fluke to me.
Yeah.
I don't know how he got that kind of money. Same thing with Russell Wilson. Same thing with Kyler Murray.
Cleveland had nothing else to do.
I'm literally like, I might try and go like 150, 175 for 3-4 years.
Yeah.
But to get a 6-year contract at $250 million,
Lamar, they've built that offense around him. A good tight end in Andrews, a good line, good running backs. But the big time receivers like Hollywood and these guys, they don't want to play there because they don't get the same touches that Jamar Chase and these other, Tyreek Hill, Waddle. They got 2 receivers that have more catches than just their one receiver. So it's interesting.
Well, and honestly, like if I'm the Ravens, I start structuring those guys' contracts differently based on winning rather than yards and stats.
Well, last thing I want to say, speaking of quarterback that you want to play for, Aaron Rodgers. Is he going to go to the Jets? Is he going to stay with the Packers? What do you think is going to happen with him?
I think he's gone. I mean, this has happened one too many times. Am I going to stay? Am I going to go? I don't know what this whole weird thing was where he disappeared for 4 days or whatever the heck that was.
Sabbatical, my friend.
Yeah, sabbatical. Sorry. Whatever. Anyways, I think he's gone.
Yeah.
And the Jets just traded Mike White, so they have nobody there.
Yeah.
So,
I think the Packers, like you said, they're going to try to hold him back. And most people would go into the beach for a week. Aaron Rodgers decided to crawl in the Hobbit hole and just stay there.
Yeah.
I'm sure with whatever he has.
Play like Call of Duty.
Yeah, exactly. Who knows? I think still he's one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. And I think wherever he goes, that team will be successful. So I think he's going to stay in Green Bay. That's my gut.
Super recent. We got to give a shout out to Scotty for winning the Players.
Oh yeah, I knew you were going to bring golf into it. I knew you were going to bring.
Scotty wins the Players, so now he joins Jack and Tiger as the only 3 people that have held the Masters title and the Players title at the same time.
And it really wasn't even close. I mean, he was 17 under, 3 or 4 strokes better than the next guy.
Yeah.
Again, they got to have players like that come on that keep the interest here with everything with the Live Golf, all that tour and stuff.
Yeah.
And big, they did a great job. I felt like of promoting the players, showing it the whole time. I remember like the Masters, you should have to watch like the second half of the day.
Yeah.
Show it as much as possible. Get the best groups together. I think Chance said that they had Rory, Justin Thomas, all in the same group.
Yep.
Do that, just like
that was good. I watched the entire weekend.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. So
Yeah.
that's what they got. I think their answer back to that is have big time groups all together playing and
I had a friend of mine tell me this last week, and I agree with him. I am all for Live versus PGA.
Oh,
when that hits, that is going to be unbelievable.
like a Captain America Civil War.
That's
You want
right.
to see it?
So that'll be interesting when that happens.
Well, it's time, bracket busting time. So, like I said, there was a lot we covered. Good to have you back, but it's time to get to the brackets. So we'll be right back here. Final answer. You got it. It's the best time of the year, and my buddy's back. March Madness 2023.
Yeah.
Actually, now, Brett, this is so 1990s, 2000. You actually have a portable bracket you can go on your phone now.
Man,
when's the last time one of these guys saw? Oh, you got your Sharpie,
Look,
everything.
I'm
I
telling
got
you,
it.
Something about pen and paper. This will forever be.
And
okay?
I will have a pen and paper copy.
You
I'm
know.
making fun of you, but I do it myself too.
You know,
It's just
I know Gen Z and the kids these days
Yeah.
with their iPads.
it's all on here, man. Everything's here.
Yeah. Creed, when he's like, "Oh, it's up in the cloud," and Sylvester Stallone's like,
Yeah.
Rocky's
Nope,
like,
yeah.
"Cloud? Who's a cloud? What are you talking about?"
Nothing's on the cloud. Hey, Creed, big
I
time
know,
movie.
man.
Yeah,
Creed
yep.
3, man. I'm ready to go see it.
Let's get to basketball.
Okay.
Tournament. I know this is what I think the bigger challenge is for us is we'll have our brackets up. We'll show kind of what our picks are. We'll kind of cover as much as we can on the brackets. But I've watched a lot. You haven't watched as much. So this is the thing is back in the day, I felt like that we had these bracket challenges, and we talk all the time. And some girl that wouldn't know anything about it, that would be picking by the colors, would end up better than somebody that watches all the time because upsets and all this random stuff that happens. Like, this is what makes this tournament so special. I think it's the best postseason in all the sports. Just the way they do it starting during the day and going through the weekends. It's one of my favorite times of the year. College basketball regular season, College basketball postseason is incredible. The buzzer beaters, the Cinderella stories, the George Masons, the Steph Currys that get introduced to the world. Like, I'm so excited, as you can tell. I want to get to some of your initial thoughts. Florida State and Florida are not in it. The first time both these schools are not in it, it's got to be in 15, 20 years.
I actually didn't look that up. I meant to look that up.
Yeah.
I should have. When's the last time North Carolina hasn't been in this?
Well, and I brought this up earlier, and no ACC team is lower than like a 4 seed. When does that ever happen? ACC used to be the premier conference. I think Miami and Duke. Duke's, I think, a 5 seed.
Duke's
yes.
a 5, yeah.
And Miami is I want to say
5 also.
a 5 also. It's like, when's the last time that happened, man? Like, ACC just down a year at conference, But hey, that's when
Virginia's 4. Virginia's
4.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah. So 3 teams that are just pretty good. North Carolina doesn't even make the tournament, man. And they refuse to play in the NIT. Chance's team's not even in it.
I don't know when the last time they weren't in it. Florida State, Florida. I don't remember the last time they weren't in it.
Both of them. Florida State's been great in basketball. And Florida, of course, has been great. And Chance is going to say his team is in it because Auburn is playing.
That's right.
We'll get to the big topic of the bracket so far. Bama, the number 1 overall seed, playing in Birmingham, Alabama. They draw a team that we won't even know till maybe tomorrow night. The winner of West Virginia, Maryland, they'll play in Birmingham. But on the opposite side of the bracket, Auburn, as an 8 seed, gets to play in Birmingham and possibly play Houston in the second round. Houston, it's made national news of how mad they are the fact that the second round game as a 1 seed, they could be playing a team in basically a home game.
A home game, yeah.
But think about Birmingham. They get Alabama and Auburn in a bracket.
Yeah.
I mean, that thing's going like $500 a ticket is what I'm hearing.
Well, I even saw bigger than that. I've been seeing like $850 for tickets right now. So let me say this: I have not watched basketball at all. Normally, I'll start watching around like the tournaments, the conference tournaments and everything to try and get a feel for where I need to put my bracket.
Yeah.
I've been so busy, I haven't been able to watch any of it. So I'm going completely cold.
Okay, and Florida State's not relevant this year, so that probably hurt too. For me, I think what kept me up is I've been begging so long for basketball.
Start putting your team in there.
Yes. Well, I've been begging so long for basketball to be relevant in the state of Alabama, and it is now. But yet my team's not relevant. It's like I was waiting for him to get the tournament with Florida and everything. It's like, but now basketball's more relevant with Auburn and Alabama than it's ever been, and yet our teams are not in the tournament. So,
well, I heard something on the radio today that said for the city of Birmingham, they're estimating upwards of like $5 million just from this tournament.
That's great.
Being there, like that's how much money they're looking
and
at.
imagine that the timing of that happening, and them getting Alabama and Auburn in the same week. So we'll start with the South bracket. Bama's the 1 seed. Arizona's the 2 seed. You got Missouri in there as a 7. Virginia is a 4. A big matchup people are calling for is San Diego State Charleston, the 5-12. The 5-12 is the biggest upset. Charleston's got an unbelievable score. They won the conference. What are your thoughts of the South seed?
I'm calling the upset.
Okay.
That's the first one I circled. And honestly, I've got an upset in each region, so we could talk about that. But that's the one I circled in that southern region.
All right, so I got Alabama and Virginia and Baylor and Arizona. I went through all 4 top seeds coming out of the South, and Bama and Arizona playing in the Elite 8.
Okay.
My upset was Charleston over
San
Diego State, but I got them losing to Virginia. So I kind of went heavy on the favorites. What about you? Who do you got in the Sweet 16 Elite 8?
Same. So I've got Alabama, Virginia. I've got Creighton beating Baylor. Though. Creighton.
Yeah.
Whatever. Creighton. Yeah.
Creighton, can you take?
Yeah.
Whatever happened to those guys?
I know, right? Arizona. So I've got Alabama, Arizona too.
All right, so we same top.
Yeah, same. Yeah, are we going all the way to the 4?
No, we're going to the Elite 8. All right.
Okay.
All right, so let's go to the next. We'll go to the East bracket. Purdue just won the Big Ten championship. They got the 7-4 big man in the middle. I think he had another double-double, 30 points in the final. E-Day. They got a great team. They're playing. Obviously got a 16 seed, but a chance to play Memphis in the second round.
That's right.
Who won Conference USA? That they beat Houston in the final. That's a crazy second round matchup. Duke. Tennessee coming out of that first round, and then Kentucky Providence. I think that's one of the best games in the first round. I got Kentucky winning, but closer than the experts think.
Lee Corso?
Yeah. And then bottom half, Michigan State, Marquette, who came on. Shanka Smart's their coach. They had a good year, won their conference. So I'm going in that bracket. I got Purdue and Duke going to the Sweet 16, and then Kentucky and Marquette, and then I got Marquette. So I got a 6 seed and a 5, 2 blue bloods, lower blue blood seeds. And then I got Purdue and Marquette winning those. So I got Purdue and Marquette, Alabama and Arizona in my Elite 8 on the top side of the bracket.
All right, so mine's flipped a little bit.
Okay.
So first off, in the first round, my biggest upset in that one is going to be the Raging Cajuns beating the Volunteers.
What?
I'm calling it.
Are you kidding
I'm
me?
calling it. Watch out.
Tennessee's had a pretty good year, man.
I know, but watch out for Louisiana.
All right.
All right, and then in the second round, I've actually got Memphis beating Purdue.
Wow.
So Memphis playing Duke, Memphis beating Duke, and Memphis going.
What?
So,
dude, if you hit that, there's going to be not many people that have that, man. I like it.
And then down below, I've got Kansas State and Marquette. I got Marquette and Memphis playing with Marquette going on.
All right, so you got Marquette and Memphis in your Elite 8 on that side. All right, let's move to the Midwest. That's where the controversy's been with Houston and Auburn.
Yep.
Speaking of controversy, have you seen Chance's picks lately?
No.
Oh, this guy's going 7 of 8, 8 of 9.
Yeah, I have seen that. Yeah.
7-game parlays. He's hitting 6 of them. I gotta stop the broadcast right now. What are you doing, and how can you be this unlucky to hit? Eventually, you just got to go one at a time, man, because he's combining 8 or 9 and getting 8 or 9. I mean, it's like
just do the money lines, right?
He's going all the way to the finish line and breaking records, and then falling on his face and getting hurt.
You go 8 and 9 with money lines, you're gonna be all right.
Yeah, this guy would own this place by now. My goodness. The parlays are just so tempting, though, man.
They are, and you throw $20 in there, you hit 1,500.
Yeah, you're right. But it's so close, man. Chance, shout out to Chance.
My name is Chance. I have a problem with parlays.
Houston's the 1 seed in the Midwest. They're playing in Birmingham. Auburn and Iowa. I got Houston playing Auburn. Miami. They won the conference and didn't win the conference championship. Duke beat them out. But Indiana and Miami, a second round matchup. New school, old school, kind of right there. That's a crazy game. The bottom half, again, this is not a very strong break. Texas did win the Big 12, so they're their 2 seed. But A&M, I'm telling you, they got screwed. They should have been a 3 or 4 seed. They finished second in the SEC. They lose the championship game, and they get a 7 seed. Yeah. They had a great year. And not only that, but they got to play Penn State, who went to the final of the Big Ten.
Yeah, and then got to play Texas right after.
And then Texas right after. But yeah, I got Texas and Xavier and Houston and Miami with Houston and with Miami beating Houston.
Really?
I think Houston without their, who's out for Houston again?
Player, right?
Sasser.
Sasser, yes.
Sasser, yeah.
So he's
I didn't
out.
know that until I made my
So
Yeah.
Miami, I got them beating them. I think Miami's got a good team. They play Texas in the Elite Eight. So I got Purdue, Marquette, Miami, Texas, Alabama, Arizona so far in my Elite Eight.
So I'm gonna hit you with some drama real quick.
Okay.
The possibility of Auburn upsetting Houston in Birmingham.
Wow.
Birmingham. Birmingham. Auburn is 25-9 in Birmingham since 1978.
Wow.
4-0 under Pearl as head coach.
Yeah.
All right. Sasser's going to be out. I think Auburn easily beats Iowa. I think it's definitely going to be Houston versus Auburn. Unfortunately, I am going with Houston.
Oh, all that info. Hey.
Yeah, so I've got Houston. My big upset here is going to be Kent State over Indiana.
Okay.
And then I've got Kent State and Miami. I've got Kent State beating Miami.
Okay.
And then Houston and Kent State playing, Houston moving on. So I've got Houston, Kent State, Xavier,
Okay.
and Texas with Xavier and Houston.
The home court advantage, will it be real? Most SEC teams cheer for other SEC teams.
Yeah.
Auburn is going to play in that second round game. If they get to the second round, Alabama is either going to be playing the game before or the game after.
Yeah.
Are those Bama fans that are going to pack Birmingham going to be cheering for another SEC? So
It's not
this
gonna
home court advantage may or may not exist. Now Auburn's going to
So-
spend some money to get there and watch the game, but I think there's going to be a lot of Bama fans cheering on that red Houston team and that red. They'll all be
Yeah.
wearing the red and.
So 2015, I think it was Dayton, University of Dayton. Didn't they play? It was I think they actually played on their home court. They played first round on their home court, and they ended up losing. And so since then, let's see, back in 2010, I looked this up. Butler was the last one to play in their home city.
Wow.
In 2010, they played at Lucas Oil and lost to Duke in
Okay.
2010.
Oh yeah. They
So-
made it to the Final Four.
Yeah. Yeah, so
Tampa had the Super Bowl in a couple of years ago when they played in Tampa at the Super Bowl. So that's
so the committee makes it a point not to put people in their home city, their home court.
that's why this was so
But
strange,
this
man.
happened. Obviously, from a money perspective, it's great for Birmingham.
Yeah.
Can't believe this happened, but in the past, it has not helped having home field advantage.
And what they're saying too is that maybe put Memphis there as the 8th seed or put somebody else there that is not going to be literally 2 hours up the road. And Houston's got to be thinking, golly, like we're the 1 seed. The 1 seed is like Alabama. You play in Birmingham or Florida. They always play in Jacksonville or Orlando if they're the 1 seed. Duke always plays in like Charleston or something like that. But to be getting to be an 8 seed
Right
and
there.
and playing right at home, like you got to think when they're doing all this, it's tough to kind of oh God, we can't put them there or whatever. But all right, anyways, moving on to the last side of the bracket. To me, this is Kansas's to lose. I know they just lost the last game of the Big 12 championship, and they really got beat bad. But Kansas is in it. They got a crazy matchup, I think, with Arkansas, and if Arkansas can get past Illinois in the second round. But a very weak bracket to me. UCLA's the 2 seed. They don't have their best player, or one of their best players is out. Northwestern and Boise State. Gonzaga's the 3 seed. So, again, I said this on our podcast probably a couple weeks ago. Gonzaga not being the favorite this year. They still got Drew Timme. This is when they're going to make their run.
Yeah.
This is when they're going to do big because nobody's expecting them to do anything. This is when they're going to do it. So I expect a big run from Gonzaga. I got them beating TCU. I do have UCLA because it's so weak down there beating Northwestern. And then Kansas and St. Mary. St. Mary has been battling Gonzaga all year. Crazy they got put in the same side of the bracket.
Yeah.
But I got Kansas and St. Mary and Gonzaga and UCLA to round out my Elite Eight. So
Okay. So my big upset on this side would be I've got UNC Asheville beating UCLA.
okay.
And I know that's probably insane, but there's always something insane that
Yeah,
happens,
UNC
right?
Asheville got a good team this year.
So
Shout out Matt Dickey, former
yeah,
UNC
there
Asheville
you
Player
go,
of the Year. Yeah.
So I know UCLA, they lost their best player. Not watching basketball. I hit the highlights, right?
Yeah.
So I got that. I also have UNC Asheville beating Northwestern. Yeah. So
UNC Asheville to the Sweet 16.
my
Wow.
16. Yeah, my 16 is Kansas, St. Mary, Gonzaga, and UNC Asheville, and I got Kansas and Zags going on. So
Okay. All right, let's get to the big where the money is, the Final Four.
Yep.
My Elite Eight, I got Alabama and Arizona in the South. I got Alabama advancing over Arizona. I think that'll be one of the best games of the tournament.
oh yeah.
Purdue, Marquette. I think Purdue's too big inside. They power out as the 1 seed. I got Texas beating Miami. Now, I got Miami upsetting Houston. I got Texas, who goes and rallies from winning the Big 12 as the 3rd team. And then I got Gonzaga beating Kansas. I think Gonzaga, this is the biggest win of maybe his career at Gonzaga and pushes him to the Final Four, where I got Alabama and Purdue, Texas and Gonzaga. All right, so I got Purdue beating Alabama. I think Alabama, they shoot it so well. I think this is the game that they don't shoot it well, and Purdue's so solid of a team, and they got and Bama's not gonna be able to defend the interior. You know, like I said, he's getting 30, 25 points. Bama's got nobody that can defend that. I don't feel like Clowney's a bigger guy, Miller's a bigger guy, but they're not 7'4", and Purdue's a solid team. I got Purdue, and then I got Gonzaga beating Texas, with Gonzaga winning it all as a 3 seed. The year they're not supposed to win it, the year they don't have all the star talent, the Chet Holmgrens, all these great players. I got Drew Timme in his senior year leading Gonzaga to beat Purdue 75-65. That's my bracket.
75-65 too, man.
Yep.
You hit the tiebreaker, and I didn't fill that out yet. I didn't do the tiebreaker. But,
right.
All right, you ready to hit mine real quick?
Yes.
All right, so I've got Alabama, Arizona
Okay.
in the Elite Eight in the South, with Arizona winning.
Wow.
Then I've got Memphis and Marquette in the East, with Marquette going.
Okay.
In the Midwest, I got Houston and Xavier, with Xavier going.
That's a weak bracket. I feel like Xavier's going to go to the Final Four, man. You got them beating Texas. I forgot about that.
Yeah, I got them beating Texas. So I got Xavier beating Houston.
Okay.
And going to the Final Four. And then down here, I'm with you on the Zags beating Kansas, and them going to the Final Four.
You have no 1 seeds in your Final Four.
None.
Wow.
None. Because
Wow.
the 1 seed, I mean.
It happens a lot. They don't ever,
It's so rare that a 1 seed makes it all the way. So. I'll probably do another one.
Yeah.
That I'm gonna have.
And another one. And another one.
Yeah. So I want to do like 5 of these things, because if you win, you win. But Chance has got a bracket challenge for the final answer.
Yeah. I'll get to that.
But anyway, that's why I'm gonna do 5.
Okay.
Here,
Yeah.
But anyway, Arizona and Marquette. I've got Arizona winning. Xavier and Gonzaga, I got Gonzaga winning. Arizona and Gonzaga, so 2-3 with Arizona winning all.
Arizona, wow. Okay, so Arizona won the Pac-12. Again, I feel like that they've been a good team, and they've had a lot of good runs. They haven't won a championship since, I want to say, 99 with Miles Simon, Richard Jefferson, some bigger names. Mike Bibby was on that team. Been a long time since Arizona's won. This could be the year too. They're way due. They're way due. So Arizona, Gonzaga. You had Gonzaga in the final.
Yeah.
So we're thinking the same thing on them. I think that's 2 pretty good brackets.
Yeah.
I'm looking at some of the odds to win. Marquette plus 2,800, Gonzaga plus 1,800. Man, that's a heck of an odds right there.
Arizona plus 1,700.
Yeah.
So
again, I feel like, to me, this is going to be a crazy year. This is the year I think there's going to be a lot of UNC Asheville type stuff could happen this year, and they've been close. I think when Matt was playing, they had Pittsburgh on the ropes. So, But so it's going to be a crazy time. Make sure you subscribe to our bracket challenge on ESPN. It's Final Answer Brackets. $200 to the winner. You must subscribe to the podcast on Spotify and YouTube, and follow them on Instagram, Twitter as well. So to order to qualify for the $200, you have to be following all those 4 things. Not very hard to do. So Twitter, Spotify, Instagram, and YouTube. Make sure you must be 18 years of older, and you must submit your brackets before tip-off of the first game on Thursday. We know there's a couple games in the first 4 they do the next couple nights. Each follower is allowed 2 brackets, and the winner must live in the United States. For all you guys out there in Canada, I'm sorry, you're not going to be able to win this time. But $200 to the winner, but you got to subscribe.
Merrick.
Brett, any final thoughts?
I think it's going to be fun. Yeah, again, now I'm going to start watching basketball.
Okay.
So we'll see what happens.
Well, we'll be back after the tournament's over, but we're excited about March Madness. We'll be back for the draft in April. Excited to have you back, man. I feel like I said, I'm glad negotiations and contracts, Chance finally settled with you and paid you the money. You're worth it to me.
You getting paid still?
Okay. I keep stepping on my own feet on that, but hey.
This is basically like a cameo appearance over here.
Well, hey, it should be a very high-paid cameo appearance
just,
on the Final Answer. Da-da-da.